This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good evening, South Africa. Welcome to the Mara Triangle in Kenya. We are with the Salt Lick Pride on the move. This is safariLIVE.
This is so exciting. We've managed to find the Sausage Tree Pride.
Look at this last dash.
This is amazing.
Look at that incredible strength.
20 seconds.
Here come the cheetah. Unbelievable stuff.
I'm just keeping my head on a swivel. You never know what's going to happen next in these situations.
Standing by.
Can you believe this?
Three, two, one. Live.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the western fringes of the Great Kruger National Park. We are coming to you live. Of course, my name is James Henry Sebastian Rombi. The greatest French Gabonese Air Force pilot in history is on camera tonight, and that, in that tree, is the beautiful Princess Tlalamba. Now, we are coming to you live, as I said, from two locations in Africa, the Western Kruger in South Africa and the Masai Mara in Kenya. Very special stuff indeed that we have going on here. I'll briefly tell you what's happened here. We've been watching Tlalamba, 18 months old, and her mother Thandi, now almost 13, trying to we don't really know what they've been doing. They've been interacting the whole afternoon, Thandi trying to chase Tlalamba away, and then they spotted the scrub hare, and little Tlalamba now has it, although I think mother actually killed it, and mother is around here somewhere. So that's what's going on over here. Please talk to us using the hashtag safariLIVE on Twitter. It'll be wonderful to have your questions and comments. As always, you as our live audience are the most important part of any live safari. Now, what we're going to try and do is get into a slightly better position, and while we do that, you can have a look at the magnificent week we had last week.
Last week on safariLIVE, Tristan's patience and skill were rewarded with leopard luck, Queen Thandi with a Nyala kill, and a belly looking suspiciously pregnant once again. We went back in time to meet Tlalamba as a playful cub, utterly adorable and completely dependent on her mother. Trishala found an Avoca male furthering his legacy with an Nkuhuma lioness. In the Mara Triangle, Brent watched a desperate young lion going through the painful process of joining a coalition.
So back we are here with Tlalamba. Now, the reason it is in black and white, if you haven't been watching the last few weeks, is of course because we are in infrared, and that's just the best way to watch the animals at night. It allows us to view them without impacting on their behavior too much. There is a spotlight on her at the moment because there is a guest or tourist vehicle in this sighting with us. And that's perfectly normal, of course. We are in the Sabi Sands of the Western Kruger, and there are lots and lots of tourists making valuable contributions to conservation by being here. You might just be able to hear their camera shutters going ballistic in front of us. So we've managed to move a little bit, and Tlalamba is now enjoying her meal. The reason she's perched so precariously in that tree is that there was a hyena that came rushing in on smelling the innards of the hapless scrub hare that unfortunately is not going to see next week. Now, we're not going to move from here. We're going to stay and see if perhaps Thandi doesn't come back. And while we do that, let's go back up to the Masai Mara, where a little while ago, Isaac Rotich managed to see the Sausage Tree Pride hunting their very favourite meal.
They all are moving in now. The buffalo is still down, and all girls are moving in. I don't know if the buffalo has given in. Okay, this very injured buffalo is under siege by the Sausage Tree Pride, and the hunt is on. I am here witnessing this live happening. There we go. one female has put the anchor. Yeah, and that call might attract the others. Yeah, they're all on him. They're biting his ankles, his knees. Yeah, it's all happening. It's all happening. And the other buffaloes might come in to help. That is trying, the female at the back is trying to pull him down, while the others is biting the legs. You see, they're trying to bite off the legs so he's disabled. If it manages to go, he won't survive.
You back live with us in the Mara, and we're with the Salt Lick Pride with 3 cubs. They've just spotted a porcupine. It's just off. The cubs are looking. There it goes. The adults have had a look, and they're not interested. Now these 3 cubs are looking quite interested. That could be quite a very good learning curve. Mum is calling and saying, "Don't do it, little one." 3 lioness looked at the porcupine and then turned aside. They're like, "Whoa, no ways. Those quills are going to hurt me." The cubs will have to learn somehow. Not the sausage tree pride, as pulling down buffaloes. Those incredible sounds that are made by the buffalo being pulled to the ground is sometimes quite distressing. But I've never heard a porcupine make a noise. Normally, they are dispatched quite quickly. The sounds they do make are the rattling of the quills that they try and sort of intimidate whoever it is that's trying to catch them. To me, you want to know how often lions hunt porcupines, and probably as often as they see them. This is the first time I've seen lions look at a porcupine and decide, no, thank you. I've seen lions hunt porcupines 3 times in my life, and each time they were successful, bearing in mind the porcupines that they caught were missing a lot of their quills, and so that probably gave the lions a bit of an edge. But this guy seems to have all the quills on. He was stamping his feet there. Each of the lioness kind of had a look and then walked away. And just a moment ago, I heard the lionesses calling the cubs, trying to give them some form of warning. Let's listen. Cubs are about 4.5 months old, maybe close to 5. This might lead the lioness on an attack. I think she knows better. I suppose you do get some animals that are specialists. But if you've never killed a porcupine before, it's not easy going. Once I saw a male lion kill it, he just sort of slapped it on the back, pulled all the quills down, and then bit it on the back of the neck. Now, everybody thinks porcupines can shoot their quills. They can't. They are long hair follicles designed for being very, very dangerous, and the porcupine runs back short little steps, and that generally penetrates or impales whoever it is trying to catch them, and those quills can go into the eyes. Very, very dangerous for a cub, very dangerous for an adult, in fact, but they've got to learn somewhere along the line. So everybody, how about a quick one-word tweet? How does this make you feel? Lion cubs standing down to a porcupine. That is a very big porcupine. Curiosity killed the cat. They can't help themselves. Maybe Mum is going to come and show them how it's done. She's not looking very interested, though. Incredible to be able to find porcupines out here in the long grass of the Mara. We've had lots of rain. Oh, there it goes. You can see it's all up. All the quills are sort of elevated, making it look enormous. This is incredible. See, Mum's telling them, no, children, come this way. You don't want to play with that. You will not be able to see further than your 5th month birthday. Well, maybe they'll turn around and decide to catch the porcupine, everybody. Stay with us and see how the action unfolds. Who knows what could happen next? Hello, everybody. Well, look at this little cuteness. You can still see both eyes are still working. If you decided to sneak up too close to that porcupine, you would definitely lose vision in at least one of those eyes. The eye shine reflects back when the eye is still in use. How amazing is that, everybody? Well, we're going to continue on, see if we can get back in front of these lions, see if maybe we can find those two big males as well. But in the meantime, let's go back down to Tristan in Djuma, where he's having lots of fun with his leopards this evening.
Well, we're still with Tingana, and he is on a serious mission. He has not stopped walking all afternoon, and we have gone all the way to the southern boundary and turned to now going all the way back north again to where we started. So we are doing a big roundabout loop, which is quite interesting. So we're going to try and kind of keep up with him and just try and see where he's going. Right, now, it's interesting, the whole behavior from Tingana, because he scent marked all the way along, but didn't go all the way to Twin Dams and hasn't gone to Treehouse Dam. He's kind of turned between both of them, which is maybe an indication of how far his territory is actually stretching these days. I'm very surprised that he didn't go to either one of those, to be honest with you, after the amount he has walked. See, every now and then he just stops and listens. He's still very much on the lookout for food. Even though he's territorial marking, he's still looking for a meal. Now, we are going to be coming out of our ad break shortly, so I'm just going to keep quiet for a little bit while we follow him. Well, if things couldn't get any better after a leopard in a tree with a scrub hare kill and lions with a porcupine, we are still live in South Africa with the biggest dominant male we have, called Tingana. He is meandering down the road at the moment and is on a territorial patrol. My name is Tristan. On camera, I've got Senzo this evening, and it's been an afternoon of sheer chaos. We have spent our entire afternoon following Tingana. We've been with him for now just close on about 3 hours, and he has walked the length and breadth basically of Djuma, and he obviously bumped into Thandi and Tlalamba earlier, where he had a brief sort of interaction with them, figured out that both of them were females that he knew, and that sparked him off onto this massive territorial movement where he went and scent marked, he was vocalizing, and since then he's done a huge loop, and we're actually now heading roughly back towards where James is. So we're a little bit kind of further to the west, but we are not too far from James once again, and I'm wondering if he maybe is going to head that way. The thing is that he is incredibly hungry at the moment, so he's been looking at every single opportunity. Every time a scrub hare runs past, every time he sees an impala, he goes into a bit of a stalk mode. But look at this. Look at how he's using his nose. Can you see that? Now, I'm just going to turn my headlights off a little bit. I was just trying to see where I was going, so it's going to change slightly. But you can see he's sniffing the air. There's a bit of a breeze that's going, and that's maybe he's smelt something, and he's potentially going to go into the block and maybe try and hunt it. Now, a few years ago, my colleague Jamie had the most special experience as she followed 5 spotted cats that were also on the hunt.
There is nothing quite as focused as 5 cheetah males approaching a herd of wildebeest, and you can see them now moving with complete intent, working together as a group to target the wildebeest that are moving across in front of them. Now, you're watching this play out in the Masai Mara here in Kenya, where these 5 cheetah males have taken this area by storm. It's exceptional to see a coalition of 5 cheetah. They're typically in either groups of 2 or 3, so to see 5 is quite extraordinary. And when you watch the way that they hunt, you get an idea of just how much it works to their advantage. and it allows them to tackle prey much, much larger than a cheetah's regular meal. I haven't actually introduced myself. We're going to keep the camera on the cheetah because we don't know when they're going to go, but my disembodied voice, my name is Jamie, and this morning Fergus is on camera with me, so he's providing you with these stunning images. The wildebeest grouped together like this, it's too much of a risk for them to go barreling in and grab one.
Welcome back to the scene of the crime from earlier today. We are sitting still with Tlalamba and her scrub hare, and Sebastian was being very artistic there. He is, of course, on camera, and the reason I called him a great Air Force pilot is because he's normally our drone pilot. The drone is sitting next to us at the moment because, well, we don't need it right now. We have a beautiful cat sitting in a tree. Now, the cat is, in fact, growling, and that is because her mother is down below. And the two of them had a big fight today. And quite interestingly, we think that Tundi, her mother, has given birth. Now, Tristan mentioned a lot about Tundi perhaps being pregnant last week, and in fact we think she's given birth. Her belly is empty. She does perhaps seem to be lactating. We're not sure, and perhaps the interaction that they're having now, being so aggressive, is a result of a new generation of royal Juma leopards. Wouldn't that be very, very special? I don't think we're going to see them tonight, but something to look forward to over the coming weeks. Now, Sandstar, very good question. You say, do leopards fight when they come across each other? Well, it depends. You know, we had 3 leopards in our sighting this afternoon. We had Tingana, who you've met with Tristan this afternoon or this evening. We've had Tundi and we've had Tlalamba in the same sighting. Tundi was aggressive towards Tlalamba. Tlalamba approached her father, which is extremely unusual to see. She made physical contact with him, smelt his back legs, and chuffed at him. She went choof, 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 which is a kind of friendly, non-threatening gesture or greeting. And interestingly, Tingana, for the first time that I've seen the two of them interact, showed zero aggression whatsoever. He soared, so he showed his territorial dominance, but he didn't growl or bare his teeth at either Tundi or Tlalamba. So it's very difficult to answer the question, do they fight when they come across each other in the wild? Today, yes, there was some fighting, but there also was some very friendly interaction, which was absolutely fascinating. Alrighty, let's go back up to the Masai Mara and to Isaac and the Sausage Tree Pride and their buffalo.
Welcome back. That is the distress call. Oh, he's going down, he's going down, he's gone down. Okay, this might be over because you're gonna see one is gonna like bite him all the way to the neck and then it's gonna be over. Yeah. It is quite sad. That one has gone for the bite. It's called keys of death. Now it has keys. There'll be no more noise, and it's trying to stop him from breathing. And off to my right here, the cavalry is coming. All the others are coming. You can see them here. They're all coming for rescue, but they're being very cautious. These are the ones that I was talking about. That distress call is the one that has attracted them. I don't know if they'll be able to succeed and be here before this guy dies.
Well, everybody, incredible to watch the Sausage Tree Pride as buffalo hunters. We are with the Salt Lake Pride, and they are clearly, in my opinion, not porcupine hunters. And Sally, your one-word tweet, was risky. Now, these lions are giving us a bit of a runaround. They're moving in all sorts of directions, giving myself and James a hard job trying to get in front of them to try and actually show you exactly what's going on. But that is the way it works. They are clearly hungry and trying to pick up on any smells on the wind. There we go. They're having a listen. Now, Salt Lake Pride is 4 lioness, and it's the first time myself seeing them this year, and they've got 3 new ones. It's very, very special to see. We did find them with 2 big males earlier on. The cubs were getting a little bit too playful for the adults. Males, they got a bit grumpy and they went off to play golf, rather. So they've gone. I don't know where they are. They were following them a little while ago, but maybe because this is the time of year without migration that lions like to hunt buffalo. It is a very good time of year for buffalo, and maybe they'll find one of them just up ahead. So we're going to continue on. It is getting enormous storm on the horizon, but we're going to link you back down to Tristan in South Africa, and I think he's still with one of his leopards.
Well, as you can see, we are still sitting with Tingana at the moment. He's stopped now and is lay on the road. He had his nose up in the air and he was sniffing about as if he was catching the scent of something, but I don't know if it's really too much other than the fact that maybe he's quite tired. Like I say, we have walked really far today and he's been a busy cat all afternoon, and so as he gets older in life, remember he's approaching between sort of 12 and 13 years of age, and that means that he's not quite as exuberant as he used to be, and so sometimes he has to just stop for a little bit to take a bit of a rest. But isn't it spectacular to think that we're sitting in complete darkness in the wilds of Africa, and we have a leopard that is relaxed enough to sit in the middle of the road right in front of us and really not bothered by us at all. It is something special to be out here. You can just hear the crickets in the background that are making a little bit of noise. Otherwise, it's perfectly still at the moment, which is very, very cool. So hopefully we'll kind of have him moving around a little bit more just now. But for now, here's one relaxed kitty on the road. Now we're going to come out of ad shortly, so I will just stay quiet for a little bit. Now, sorry, I mixed myself up there, but we are still kind of sitting with him at the moment, and we're going to wait for him to see if he gets up, and so don't go anywhere, and we'll hopefully come back and he'll be back on the move.
Now I'm here at the den. Finally, somebody has made an appearance, and it appears to be June. But she is very, very weary. She's watching something, and I was just saying to her, oh, hello, you. I was just saying to June, please don't go, please don't go. Let's see who we have joined her now. I'm not sure who that is. It's always more difficult in infrared. Ooh. So you can see that the individual that has the extended penis, or pseudo penis at the moment, is the dominant is the submissive individual, and June did not react to greeting this individual at all, which is quite interesting. Now that is submissive. That's submissive behavior there. See how that animal is sniffing around June's mouth, very skittish around her every movement. Very submissive. Oh, we're still a little bit wet. Wow, it's quite interesting to see June like that. Ah, yay! Hello, little ones! Yes, I know there's two of you. Come out to say hello. Oh, I haven't seen you all in such a long time. And I've been going round and round looking for you all. Welcome back, everybody, and of course we are live, and I'm sitting here at the Djuma clan den. We have some lovely hyenas here. We've got 2 cubs and an adult female named June. She's right there. Well, I am Trishala, and I've got Craig on camera with me this evening, and we're glad to have you on board, especially that I'm back at my hyena den, which I missed so much. Ooh. Because there's been so much action that seems to be happening everywhere else that the hyenas are hardly at their den anymore. Now we've got another adult individual there. I'm not sure who this is. Oh, let's listen. Oh, they were making a few noises there. But there you can see it with our flared thermal camera. The hot spots that are these hyenas. Oh, and that cold nose. Look at that nose. Well, all that makes a lot of sense. Just like with your dogs at home or any other pets that have wet noses, they're using that moisture on their nose to facilitate evaporative cooling. So it makes sense that that nose would be slightly cooler than the rest of the body. So this is June with her 2 cubs. You can see that giving the cub a little bit of love there with some licking. Now there's 2 of them roaming about. Oh. Ooh. Stop, Mum wants to give you a bath. Oh, it's just too adorable. Now, these are June's 2 cubs. There are other cubs at the den. There's Pretty's 2 cubs, which are quite much older, as well as good old Plonk, who is the matriarch's son. Now, all this can be quite complicated, and there's a lot of dynamics when it comes to the hyena society. So let's learn a little bit more about it.
The den is the social hub of the clan. And it's where we learn their fascinating social dynamics. Hyena cubs do not carry their status in the genetic code. Rather, they learn their station from their mothers and have it reinforced by other members of the clan. Plonk, the young son of Corky the matriarch, learned almost immediately that he could behave as he likes. Lower-ranked adults dare not discipline him in front of his mother. His playmates had no choice but to accept his bullying. Plonk is older now, but no less precocious. He'd do well to enjoy these days of dominance. As an adult, he must leave the Djuma clan and join another as a low-ranking member.
As you can see, all that interaction and play between the cubs and, of course, the adults really sort out that hierarchy amongst the hyenas. And it can be quite a complex thing, and a lot of the time cubs can be forced into submission or bullied into submission. And the dominant cub, which in our case here at the Djuma clan is Plonk, who's not around at the moment. His mother is Corky. You can see how they really do assert their rank. And he would have inherited Corky's rank, and he is the top hyena at the moment in the den. He'd even outrank other adult females, which is quite interesting. Even though he's a male, and you would know with hyena society, it is matriarchal. So most males rank below the females. Hello, cutie. I love hanging around here at the hyena den. It's one of my most favorite things to do. So no way am I going to be leaving it. I'll be sitting tight right here. In the meantime, let us go back to Jamie in the Masai Mara and have a look at what a cheetah looks like full sprint.
They know the cheetah are there, but they don't really want to let them out of their sight, because as long as they can keep an eye on them, they can predict or try to predict what they're going to do. Whereas if they can't see the cheetah, they're going to run away. They could be ambushed, or they could run straight into them. Oh, now we're going back again in the opposite direction. It would be fascinating to be in the head of a wildebeest to find out what drives them to move the way they do. The youngster on the right is probably the one that's most at risk. Okay, here we go. Full belly chase once again. Now stretching out, not quite top speed yet, but definitely targeting the wildebeest that are off to our right. Now going full speed. Look at this speed. Unbelievable, now full speed. Look at this cheetah go. Racing after the group, the wildebeest now running away. Calling in panic, the little baby one. A cheetah's pulling up. Which side is it going to go? The others are dashing in as well. I'm going to turn around. Fergus is going to reach the end of his range. Totally unexpected. Totally unexpected. There they go. Here comes D'Artagnan running off to the right. Oh, there they go. They've got it. They were waiting. They were biding their time. I can't believe it.
I must say, it's very seldom that you think of a cheetah as being a bullying kind of an animal, but when you see those 5 gangsters, known as the 5 musketeers, but possibly more appropriately the 5 gangsters, one can't help but feel very sorry for that hapless little wildebeest that unfortunately made half a migration and not the rest of it. Okay, let's go back to Tlalamba. And Kimberly, you obviously had a very interesting question about whether or not Tingana would steal this food if he came across it. And the answer is an unequivocal 100% yes, he would. Now, there are very few things in biology that you can answer with any sort of certainty. One of those is that we will all die, and the other is that if Tingana is able to steal food, he will do so. That is what he does. That's what all of these cats do, actually. He just happens to be particularly effective at it. There's not much to eat, though. It is probably, I'd say, about 500 grams of prime rabbit left. It's probably not that prime, actually. It's probably quite bony. And I think she did manage to remove the guts or the innards before she took it up the tree as the hyena came bolting in. And so, well, she's making the most of it, but there'll be a lot of hair involved in it, and there won't be a great deal of meat. But soft bones like that will be nutritious for her. Bones are nutritious if you have the equipment to deal with them. And, of course, these cats do have very powerful jaws, not as powerful as hyenas, but they will eat small bones and derive nutrition from them. And I'm sorry that the picture isn't better, but she's got herself into a particularly thick part of the tree, which is very effective for stowing her meal. Her mother is still growling, we think, from underneath the tree. We did drive around and try and find her, but unfortunately it's just so thick in there we couldn't. I'm just going to give you a little bit of time to listen to the autumnal sounds of the bush out here. There we go. You can hear a couple of crickets, and you can probably hear the voices of very happy guests enjoying the sighting as well. Let's go back across to her father now, who seems to be hungry, and this time perhaps not going to steal something.
Well, her father was up and moving and seemed like he had spotted something and has now sort of decided to lie down again. I'm just going to move slightly just to get these pieces of grass out of his face, but he was almost looked like he had spotted maybe something that he wanted to hunt. He was slinking through the bush and then kind of just lay down again. So I'm not sure what it is. Maybe something like a scrub hare. Scrub hares out here are something that get hunted a lot by leopards, as we've seen with Kalamba at this stage. And you can see how he's kind of looking down the road at the moment. So I wonder if maybe that's what he's after. It's a bit small for a big leopard like this. Generally, he would be targeting much larger antelope, but when you're walking along and it pops up in front of you, it's always something that you can go after. So we're going to be patient. Hopefully you'll continue to stalk, and we'll see you guys just after the break. Right, well, that was a bit awkward because as we were trying to go into the break, we had a spider that ran over me and is now sitting here under my steering wheel. Senzo, can you show everybody where my spider is? It's here under the steering wheel. Maybe you can see it. If you shine kind of where my spotlight is, just try and have a look and maybe you can see its legs. Straight in there. I'll try to turn the steering wheel a little bit, but there's the spider that ran over my hand while I was trying to talk to all of you and trying to tell you what was going on. And it's not a small spider, it is a rather large one. I'm trying to ID what it is actually because I haven't even seen it properly. It looks like maybe one of the wolf spiders that ran over my hand, which is an uncomfortable feeling when you're trying to talk and you're trying to listen very carefully to a count, and then you get this awkward feeling over your hand, and it's exactly not a very small thing either. So that was a bit weird. But anyway, amazing to have a spider on the car. I think I'm going to try and get rid of it quickly before we go back into TV, because otherwise we're going to have a little bit of a sort of surprise again, which I don't want. So let's try and get rid of him. Okay, off he goes. There we go. He's gone off and away. So we're done there. Naughty spider. But you can see he's still watching. He's kind of between bits of sleeping and kind of coming and awake again and sniffing. I'm sure he's waiting for something to appear that he can potentially hunt. He's definitely sniffing around. I'm surprised he hasn't smelt Thandi and Kalamba's kill by now and kind of gone that way. His nose has been in that direction and the wind's blowing from where they are. Right, this time we really are going to be coming out of ad break, so I'm going to keep quiet for the right time. So we'll chat to you guys now. Just turn me. We are still sitting with the Duke as he looks like he's slowly starting to kind of fall asleep. Although every now and then a bit of gust of wind comes along and he sort of perks up again and listens out. And I'm sure at this time of the year he's trying to listen out for those rutting impalas. Now remember, we are coming to you live, which means we want to hear from all of you. You can ask any questions or give any comments that you have, and you can use hashtag safariLIVE on Twitter to be able to do that. Now I'm really hoping that Tingana is going to start waking up and start moving again. It would be really nice if we could just see him kind of on that territorial walk, because when he does that, he makes the most phenomenal sound. He makes this sawing sound. Well, he seems like he might have spotted something. Let's just see where he's going to go. He might come behind the vehicle, so I do apologize if you see some antennas and various other things. That's kind of around the back of the car, so we're going to just quickly turn so that I can actually see where he's going. There we go. He's going down the road again, so I actually don't have to move at all. He's come right past us, and it seems like he is going to go down the road to where he was facing. Now, I'm not sure if there is something there. I didn't see any eyes earlier, but we're going to try and follow him. In the meantime, though, while he looks for a meal, let's send you across to the Sausage Tree Pride, who were completing their meal.
The buffaloes to my right have stopped, so it means maybe they have, realized that this guy has got no chance, even if they come. This is the brave one. He's the one in front. But you see, I don't know, looks like they've decided that it's over. It's rather sad, but that girl is still holding on the nose, closing off all the airway, making sure this buffalo is not gonna come back to life. But it is crazy, actually. It's one of those things that everybody would like to see, and it does happen. And this is how these guys make their living. They have no other way. They have to make a kill, and sometimes it forces them to kill such a big animal. And today, from the beginning, this buffalo looked weak, and he was giving in. It was bound to happen, and it has happened. Yeah, that is Kinky. You see the kink in the tail? Yeah, beautiful. So happy to see her.
Well, the Sausage Tree Pride, as I said, everybody, they are phenomenal hunters of buffalo. And while we were trying to follow our Salt Lick Pride here, and they have gone up a very rocky slope. The one male followed, the other male, we caught up with the gate, and then he also went up the slope. And as much as I tried, I just couldn't get up there without breaking something. So we've turned around, and it is quite rocky. So as we try and navigate back to try and find our way back to whatever semblance of road there might be, let's take you back down to the Duke of Djuma once again with Tristan.
Well, Steve, I can sympathize because I'm trying to navigate and find where our leopard has gone. It's shot off after something down into a drainage. There he is. He's straight in front of us, Senzo. So he's walking just there, and you can see he's got a bit of purpose about him. So I'm not sure what it is he's spotted. There was a scrub hare for a second, but I'm not sure that is exactly what it is, unless, of course, he's hell-bent on having a scrub hare for dinner tonight. I suppose it has been Easter, and that makes sense that the scrub hare would be on the menu, but we're going to try to keep up with him. It's very dense inside here, and the ability to follow him from here is not going to be very easy. Sherry, big cats have excellent night vision, and the reason why they have excellent night vision is because their eyes are very different to ours. We have two types of cells in our eyes called rods and cones. Now, cones are your color cells and rods are light cells. Now, in a big cat like a leopard, they have far more rods than they do cones, and that means that their color vision is very poor, but their night vision incredibly good. I don't know where he's gone now. I'm going to have to try and see if I can find him here somewhere. It gets incredibly dense in here. I think he might have just gone straight up the bank, so I can't see him anymore. I think he might have just gone up here. So we're going to have to try and go up here too, which is going to be easier said than done. It's quite a steep bank on my my left-hand side, should I say. Right. I'm going to try and see if I can catch up with him. He's obviously hunting something, and while the Sausage Tree Pride was very, very successful, let's see how Jamie fared with the Musketeers and whether they got a meal.
These boys are amazing. They take my breath away. They are so skilled. All of a sudden, they know exactly what they need to do. They were waiting for the wildebeest to be there. This is now the second kill we've seen in the space of an hour. They take my breath away. They absolutely do. This whole process is so smooth. It's so practiced. It's seamless, almost. And of the hunts that I've seen them attempt, I'm trying to think if I've seen them fail once. See how alert their body posture is. Glancing over their shoulders, they don't want to get caught unawares by a lion sneaking up on them. That would be deadly. I'm just going to be quiet for a little bit longer so you can hear the squeaks. Let's see if they keep doing it.
everybody got something to eat there. And in the wild, everybody has to survive. Much like this guy here. He is a flat-necked chameleon. Now, I think they're absolutely adorable, and they're a very fun thing to spot in the nighttime because, as you can imagine, it can be quite difficult until you've found one. And then once you have found one, it seems that you see them everywhere, much like the red car that you've bought, and now you see it everywhere. So are chameleons. Especially with the spotlight, they come up as a little sort of white, very big, broad, fat leaf. And that's how you know, I've got a chameleon. Now, these guys are quite large. They're about 30 centimeters at full stretch, which is quite big if you imagine, and their tongue is even bigger than that, or even longer than that. Now, this is the only species of chameleon we get here in Djuma, in the Greater Kruger National Area, and they are diurnal, so in the evenings, in the nighttime like now, they're pretty much looking forward to having a rest. This particular one has been a little bit more active than usual. You can see the eyes are moving. Ah, there they go. They're seeing you. Say hello to everybody, Mr. Chameleon. He's looking right at you, everybody. It's stunning. Now you see those two eyes, they move independently. And one eye will see some flicker of movement in its periphery. And then the other eye comes in to bring it into focus. Now, I had a question about why they're easier to see at night. It was from the man. Well, for one, as you'd know, chameleons can change the color of their skin, and they do that in multiple ways. And in the evenings or at night, they blend in a little less easily. So they're not investing so much time in their camouflage or so much energy. They go sort of pale colored. So that typical green color is slightly lost. It becomes more pale green. And that's why it's easy to pick up in the evenings. In the day, I could imagine it's very, very difficult. I was asking Craig earlier if he had seen one. He said he spotted one in the tree during the day, but that's when it's particularly difficult. Now, this one was slightly easier to spot because he's also hanging on to bits of grass as opposed to being in the thick, dense leaves of the trees. But I had to leave the hyena den because the adults all left and there were only the cubs left, and us being responsible, we decided to leave so we don't cause them any harm whatsoever. So now I've moved on to the chameleon. So while I move on and see what else we can find in the darkness, let me send you over to Tristan with that leopard.
Well, as you can see in the grass there is a scrub hare. Now, I don't know if this is the same scrub hare that Tingana was hunting because we've lost sight of him. I can't find him. I've been doing little loops around where you last saw us, and this is the first sign of any sort of life that we came across. And so we thought we'd just stop with this, because if he is stalking it, then theoretically he could be anywhere here and could be just burst out of these thickets. Their camouflage is that good, so hopefully when you come back, maybe there'll be a bolt and we'll see him take the scrub hare.
Oh, hello everybody on the internet. Lovely to have you with us. Goodness gracious me, we have driven some blocks today. What's happened here is that Tlalamba has climbed another tree. She was chased there by Thandi. Thandi is now absconded off towards the east, which is quite interesting because it probably means that Thandi's youngster, if she does have youngsters, is off towards the east. Very interesting stuff going on here. We lost them both. We were going to put the drone up in the sky and then decided not to because Aubrey managed to find them. And so that's why they're backlit. Phew, 2 minutes to TV. We've driven some not distance, but terrain, I suppose you'd say, this afternoon. Dreadful block we're parked next to. I'm not going back in there after Tundi unless she appears. It'd be pretty if we don't manage to show our TV viewers both leopards. 75 wires tied around me. Drone nearly was left in the block by mistake. Don't say that too loudly. Phew. You want that off. That's better. What do you think? There we go. Yes. She's looking down towards her mother, I think. I got that, Kirsten, thank you, from Ashley. Okay. Sorry, I keep forgetting we're in a... We have viewers. Sorry about that, everybody. I know that you're there, and it's wonderful having you all with us. I'm going to shut up now. We are still here live in the Western Kruger with Tlalamba. Now, you'll notice that the tree she's in don't look like the last tree she was in, and that's because it ain't the same tree. She's up a different tree, and she went there because her mother traced her up there. Her mother's gone off somewhere towards the right-hand side into a block full of very thorny branches and sticks, and so we haven't managed to find her, unfortunately. But we still have Tlalamba up in the tree, beautifully lit there. Isn't she gorgeous? 18 months old, and Ashley, you're wondering if such a fantastic little cat could possibly be a threat to her new cubs. And the answer is potentially, but it would be very unlikely. She's young, she's 18 months old, she's not a territorial leopardess yet. She'll start to feel the hormones of puberty, I suppose, a strong estrogen flush through her veins, and that will start to make her territorial eventually. But as a non-territorial leopardess, I really don't think that she would kill or harm Tundi's new cubs, but it's not impossible. We would hope not, of course. You can see a lovely gentle autumn breeze blowing there through the leaves. There's the most wonderful atmosphere out here. Alrighty, now we watched, of course, Tlalamba eating a scrub hare today, and a little while back we watched her mother, and so I suppose her mother must have taught her to kill scrub hares.
Tundi's superb camouflage is most impressive in the sparse winter vegetation. Her colours blend with the subtle golds, bronzes and greys. On an overcast and windy morning, the riverine woodland is an ideal place to hunt. There's cover in the understory. Her spotted pelage and silent, careful footfalls disguise her approach. Her speed and agility do the rest. The Queen has an enormous and deeply unfortunate scrub hare for breakfast.
So that particular scrub hare that Tundi caught, a jack, that's what you call a male scrub hare, was massive. He was the biggest scrub hare I've ever seen, and I felt quite sad watching his mournful face as he was carried off, knowing that, well, he'd seen his last morning. She's now, unfortunately, looking down towards the vehicle full of guests and not towards us. She's obviously a little shy of the lens. There we go. No, not behind the branch. That's it. Duck down. Yes, there we are. Hello. Thank you for the marvellous entertainment you've given us. Perhaps a little climb to finish things off. You can see the leaves starting to fall as the season comes to the end. I mean the summer, of course. And that is just perfection, isn't it? It's a picture postcard shot of a leopardess lying in a tree. Don't look that way. Of course, if I move the car, she'll almost certainly look back this way. All right, Trishala has now found something tiny in the night.
I do have something. I have two tiny little birds that have decided to take shelter or find some sanctuary amongst a magic guarri bush. Now, they are tiny. I can't actually even, maybe even the size or length of my finger. Not even there. Look at them in comparison to those leaves. They are tiny and I don't know what they are. It's always difficult in the darkness. Now, you are looking at it in infrared, of course, and now you're looking at it with the thermal camera, the flare, but I am looking at it in complete darkness, so it can be difficult to find out exactly what bird it is. Now, there on the flare, you can see that we have the darkness of the cold bush, the guarri bush that they're on, and these two tiny little bits of warmth. They look so cozy. In fact, there, with the thermal camera, you got a really good example of how these birds use their feathers as insulation to keep warm. Anyway, it is that time, and I'm going to send you back over to James, and he can show you those leopards as we say goodbye.
Phew, we managed to move around, and Shalamba finally staring at the lens and very happy to be famous in South Africa. She'll be quite full after that little meal, which could possibly do with a little bit more to eat. But I think probably quite satisfied and lots to think about after her afternoon. Really quite astounding stuff. Greeting her father. Father showed no aggression. And then she spent some time with her mother, who showed a lot of aggression. But her mother, of course, is not known as the grumpy queen for nothing. She can be a particularly grumpy old bag from time to time. Jennifer, you say she's so beautiful. Well, absolutely, she's beautiful. I have yet to meet anybody, Jennifer, however, who says that is an ugly leopard. I once made the mistake of saying that a leopard wasn't perhaps as attractive as some others I'd seen. I think I called her pug-faced. In fact, it was this leopard's grandmother I called pug-faced. And the internet exploded and didn't work for about a day because people were so upset with me. So, no, all leopards are beautiful, definitely. In my mind, some slightly more beautiful than others. But they are fantastic animals and certainly the highlight of my life out here. All right, everybody, that's going to be it for this wonderful episode. What an action-packed episode it was with leopards down here at Djuma. We'll see you same time, same place, of course, on SABC3 next Sunday evening. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.